Hello and welcome back to our Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky 1 playthrough, in what might be the final episode. In our last episode, not a lot happened. We just descended all 5 levels of this reputed final dungeon, and Joshua has just warned us to make sure we're ready for the final battle, so let's go see what we can do it. See if we can do it. Gee, that's a large glowy thing. Colonel Richard says, I figured you'd show up. In fact, I couldn't see any scenario in which you would do otherwise. Estelle says, Colonel Richard, at the Queen's request, we're here to put a stop to your plan. Joshua says, it doesn't look like the gospel's working yet. We may still have time if we act now. Colonel Richard says, I'm afraid not. Estelle asks, why not? What is this aureola thing in the first place? Why is getting it so important to you? Colonel Richard says, long ago the ancients were granted the power of the Septarians, heavenly treasures which could control the ground, sea and sky. One of those treasures was the aureola, the shining ring. If it is true that it really existed and was no mere myth, do you realise what it could mean for the country? Can you even begin to comprehend? Estelle asks, for the country? Zin says, you're talking about using these ancient weapons to intimidate other countries. That has to be it. Colonel Richard says, precisely. As you are no doubt aware, Liberl is lacking in political power among our neighbouring nations. We have only a fifth of Calvard's population, and we don't even have an eighth of Erebonia's military capacity. Our sole superior aspect is our technology, and that will not last. We need some form of real strength to avoid any chance of another invasion attempt. Estelle says that doesn't mean we should count on some weirdo ancient weapon thingy. What about the outcome of the war 10 years ago? Colonel Richard says that happened because we had Cassius Bright with us, but he has left the military. The country's great champion is gone, and so the only ones who may enact miracles are the goddess herself and the hero beloved by her. That is why I established the Intelligence Division. It seems that information is our last bastion of protection against our enemies. But in order to make the Intelligence Division as effective as possible, I searched all over Liberl to find some sort of decisive strength. Something that would invoke another miracle should disaster strike the nation again. Estelle asks, and this is your miracle? Colonel Richard replies, of course. Can you imagine any greater miracle than this? Estelle says, well, we're bracers, so protecting what's important is our job. But that doesn't mean being so powerful that everyone else is cowed into submission. The greatest miracle of all is when people band together and fight to protect what they love. Colonel Richard says, nonsense. Estelle says, my dad's just one man. He didn't beat the Imperial Army on his own. It took a lot of people working like crazy together to protect the country. And it's the work of all those people that brought the war to an end. Weren't you one of those people? We still feel the same here and now. When we found out what you were planning, we didn't get it. But it's our will to help people that's led us here. Don't you think that's miracle enough? Even if it's not, we still believe that there's potential in anyone, heck, in everyone. If another war should break out in the future, people will do the same thing. They'll work together and do what has to be done to make it through. I don't know much about this ancient power, but I do know that we can count on our fellow Liberlians. Joshua says, Estelle. Zin laughs, truly the words of a master. Tita says, that was awesome. I didn't get it at all, but it feels right. Colonel Richard laughs. You are strong indeed. Sadly, not everyone is like you. When face to face with an incredible power, It is a temptation that is simply too much to bear, and I have put in far too much time and effort all for this. I see no reason to turn back now. Joshua says, "Just answer me one question. How did you know about this place, Colonel?" Colonel Richard asks, "What?" Joshua says, "A forbidden power dormant for untold centuries, unknown even to Her Majesty, to say nothing of the elevator right beneath the treasury that leads straight here. It seems extremely unlikely that you'd have found out about this place just by using the resources of the Intelligence Division." Colonel Richard says, "Well..." Joshua says, "Also, this gospel, a mysterious ornament far more powerful than even the finest ever made in the Zeiss Central Factory. Where did you get it?" Colonel Richard says, "I don't have to answer that." Joshua says, "Wrong. You don't want to answer because you can't answer." Estelle asks, "What do you mean?" Joshua says, "You simply believed the Aureole would be here, and that, if you used the black ornament, you could control it. But you have no idea when or how you came to that belief, do you? Am I wrong?" Estelle says, "But that can't..." Zin says, "So perhaps his memories were tampered with, as they were with Kurt." Colonel Richard says, "So what? It doesn't matter how I got here, just that I'm here now. And look around you. I found what I was looking for, didn't I? These ancient constructs could never have been crafted with present-day techniques. So I must continue down my chosen path." And so the Machina arrive. Estelle says, "Oh." Colonel Richard says, "If you truly believe in the path you've chosen, then try to stop me. Succeed or fail, one dream will be realized while another crumbles to dust. Now, allow me to show you the artistry of one who studied under the divine blade." Estelle shouts, "Bring it on!" Joshua says, "If this is how it must be, then you'll be given no quarter." And it appears to be on. Photon Judge. Lovely. 6,200 HP, no particular elemental weakness. Can drop an EP charge EX and a tier all bomb, a mechanized security droid with a powerful ranged attack, and Colonel Richard. 11,480 HP, no particular elemental weakness. Doesn't drop anything. The mastermind behind the scenes. Thought skills learned from Cassius are powerful. So, start with Earthwall. Or not. As the case may be. So, yes, this being the case, we will try to take out the Machina and then concentrate on Colonel Richard. Now I want to disable you.
Be gone.
Ow. That's a Mystic Chainsaw. What the They really want Joshua to not be there. And yes, that was just because I wanted Tita to be within the area of effect. That is not nice at all. Try this again. Try this yet again.
Think you're clever? Die with honor.
Ow! It's not nice.
We're finished.
Better tear him again. Luminous Ogre Smash. As you do. Okay, one down.
Be gone.
seriously all you've got? Well, that's an interesting spell.
You're finished.
I don't know what hitting me, I don't know why hitting me made me advance in the ATBQ. I'm not necessarily complaining though.
Think you're clever? Die with honor.
You did that to a little girl, sir. That's what he thinks about that. Let's see if you can be Zantetsu and... Yep, that was definitely the better use of the critical. He's getting closer. He's getting closer.
Unbelievable.
We got him.
Piece of cake.
And Tita is now level 37. And we got a tier roll bar. Colonel Richard says, impressive. I'd expect no less from the children of Colonel Cassius. But it appears you are too late. Estelle says, no. Tita says, no! Zin says, is this the energy of the yin? Professor Russell says, damn, it's a total orbal shutdown. Estelle asks, what was that? Joshua says, it's the orbal shutdown phenomenon, but it's not like before. It feels like something was released. A voice says, warning, all personnel, warning. Estelle asks, huh? Joshua says, that thing is talking. The voice says, first barrier on sealed Oriole device has been confirmed as no longer operative. Confirmed gospel has been activated. Device towers have been enabled. Estelle asks, what the hell's going on? Joshua says, the first barrier, sealed Oriole device. What's this all about, Colonel? Colonel Richard says, I don't know. I didn't expect. The voice says, first barrier has collapsed. Ring is emitting very slight interference. Destruction of seal on Ring Guardians confirmed. All personnel should evacuate the sealed area immediately. Estelle asks, "What are these freaky-looking things?" Joshua says, "Stay on your toes. These are the Ring Guardians." Tita says, "I don't believe it. The archaisms are huge." Zin says, "Do not be deceived by their appearance. They are not to be trifled with." Artificial voice says, "Gate seal, a lot of stuff that goes far too fast." At least we got our HPMP refresh. Well, he does not like Tita. Alright, let's see. Left forceps, 3000 HP, no particular elemental weakness, doesn't drop anything. The left arm piece of the referee, repairs if damaged, strong against physical attacks. The right forceps, 6000 HP, no particular elemental weakness, doesn't drop anything. The right arm piece of the referee uses ancient magic, strong against arts attacks. The referee, 12,000 HP, no particular elemental weakness, does not drop anything. An uncanny mechanical beast created by an ancient civilization. Alright, so the physical attackers on the right forceps. And the arts attackers on the left. So,
come on!
oh, really?
Prepare to meet your doom! Come on, everyone! Yeah! Scary.
Can you please? No, not that one. Ow. It'll be immune. Yep. Of course. Ow. Curia Tita so she doesn't go crack. Just out of range of each other. Very well. That's one gone.
You're finished.
Oh, ow, 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 ow. Yes, definitely move them away.
Not now.
Really? Well, at least it's on her.
We're good to go.
Right, now we move you out of harm's way.
Prepare to meet the doom. Come on, everyone. Yeah. Scary.
Yeah, I'm going to move you there. So hopefully, quote unquote, hopefully, we only have to move one person out of the range of... out of the range of your beam. To do that, to just help you out a little bit.
This ends here.
Sin's gonna cop that to the face. Oh, do believe we got him. At least for now. Estelle asks, why won't it just drop already? Joshua says, looks like it still has some power left in it. Watch out! Oh, it's transforming. Artificial voice says annihilation, Ring Guardian Reverie, now resuming extermination activity. Okay then. We didn't get any MP. That's unfortunate. Okay, your little friend is called Alpha Drew. Has 1200 HP, no particular elemental weakness, doesn't drop anything. A mechanized droid that uses an ancient magic similar to arts. And Reverie now has 20,000 HP, no particular elemental weakness, does not drop anything. A mechanical beast created by an ancient civilization. After heavy damage, it retaliates. I see. Well then. Ew. Okay. Didn't have to say it like that. What do we do now? Oh! Okay, so you're just going to keep bringing them back. Alright.
You're finished.
Death Rage. Oh. Tita, no! Oh, that wasn't nice.
We're good to go.
Yeah.
So the message is received. Do not touch.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to call any more? Yeah. Not nice.
I failed.
For the love of... Okay, we need to move that. Or at least
You're finished.
This ends here.
Ow!
Failed.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. Oh. Wasn't overly nice. Nice.
Prepare to meet your doom! Come on, everyone! Yeah! Scary.
Instant KO. Because of course right then was when that needed to happen. Oh, that just saved him.
We're good to go!
Here. Then you can use your limit break on him. While he's still regenerating himself. We need a tear roll. Disable him again. No more lasers. Laser. Yes, I'm being cheap because I have this nasty suspicion that there will be another boss after this. Can't reach her. Wonderful. Still can't reach her. Ah, this is problematic. Wonderful. Ugh. Really?
Sorry.
not know why I healed myself then. We're not surviving.
I'm sorry.
So we start again. Not actually what I wanted to do. But it is what happened. Right.
We're good to go.
I can do because we can't cast before he'll get his turn in.
Oh, okay.
Once again.
We're good to go. Oh, okay. We're good to go.
Really? We're good to go.
Not now.
I'm sorry.
Really? What was that? No, seriously, what was that? That was...
We're good to go.
Oh yeah, I'll cool down and go in defense. And go lower defense. And... But you won't get a turn between when I do that and when I end it. It's like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Not now. We're good to go. Oh, okay. Prepare to meet your doom! Come on, everyone! Yeah! Scary.
Why not? God's sake, will you put it away?
Not now.
Fights like this where you spend pretty much no time at all fighting and all of it just trying to stay alive. Get him, son.
Not now.
Well, you're dead either way.
We're good to go. Oh, okay.
There's a surprise. Of course.
Not now.
We're good to go.
Not now.
I sincerely doubt we're surviving for much longer. Are we going to be able to do it? 'Tis the question. Unlikely by the looks of it. Or did we? Estelle is panting quite heavily. Did we beat it? She asks. Joshua says, yeah, or at least none of the parts are moving anymore. Colonel Richard says, the Ring Guardian. Seems like its goal was to destroy this facility, to destroy the seat of the Aureola. When the Aureola was sealed, it was sealed along with it, disabled, but set to be reactivated if anyone tried to take the artifact. Maybe the ancients were in dispute over the Aureole themselves. But where is it then? Colonel Richard asks, how is it still able to move? Well, we're not going to be able to beat this. Tita says, my legs don't want to work. Estelle says, Joshua. Joshua says, Estelle. Estelle says, huh? Colonel Richard says, not a chance. Joshua asks, Colonel? Colonel Richard says, I'll deal with this. Get out of here now. Estelle says, but... Colonel Richard says, you barely survived fighting this thing last time. I'm still ready for combat. I can buy you some time at least. And so he decides to go to town on it. Estelle says, wow. Joshua says he really did learn his techniques from Dad. Colonel Richard yells, what are you doing? Go, now! Colonel Richard cries, ah! As he's picked up. Estelle yells, Colonel! Joshua asks, what should we do? Colonel Richard says, shut up and go. My fate is sealed when I lost my fight. My fate was sealed when I lost my fight with you. Estelle says, no. Colonel Richard says, don't worry about it. My plan may have ended in failure, but if I can help you, perhaps that will be repentance enough. A man's voice says, such a pity. If you think of this as a hopeless battle, then that's exactly what it will be. Have you forgotten everything I taught you? And Cassius decides to rock up with his bow staff. Estelle says, ah! Joshua says, it can't be. Cassius says, now, finish him off. With what? Like, literally, with what? We have no items. He's got 5,000 HP. Is Estelle going to be able to knock off 1010 HP? Just. Estelle puffs. We won. Cassius says, thank you for your help, everyone. Estelle, Joshua, I'm home. It's been quite a while. Estelle blubbers, Dad! Cassius says, you've still got a long way to go, but I can see that your training has paid off. I suppose I'll give you a passing grade this time. Estelle says, enough! Don't give me that! What are you even doing here? Cassius says, what indeed? Perhaps I just wanted to see the ending. Estelle asks, what do you mean by ending? Joshua laughs. I see you're as cheerful as ever, Dad. Cassius says, well, you look like you've gotten taller. Has looking after Estelle been as difficult as I think it has? Estelle asks, what's that supposed to mean? Joshua says, depends on the day, really. But to be fair, she looks out for me too. It balances out. Cassius says, good, good. It sounds like it's been a worthwhile journey. Tita says, Mr. Cassius, it's sure been a long time, huh? Cassius says, hello, Tita. It's only been a year, but you've grown so much. I trust you've gotten along with Estelle and Joshua? Tita says, yes, sir. They said that I could be their little sister. Cassius laughs. Excellent, excellent. Welcome to the family. I leave my ever-so-flighty daughter to you. Keep her safe. Zin says, hello, sir. I extend to you a belated welcome home. We've been very anxiously awaiting your arrival. Cassius says, forgive me, Zin. I'm so sorry to have called you all the way from the Republic. I just had a feeling something big was going to happen and wanted to make sure Libelle was ready for it. Zin says, it was no trouble, sir. After all, now we're even, right? And thanks to your request, I got to meet your kids and see just how skilled they really are. All in all, I had fun. Cassius says, I'm relieved to hear you say that. Estelle says, this really isn't the time for chit-chat. I swear you just pop up out of nowhere at just the right moment to make the most dramatic entrance you can. Professor Russell says, well, it seems like everything's back to normal. Cassius says, Professor, there you are. You're a bit late to the party, though, I'm afraid. Professor Russell says, well, after you went on ahead, we were surrounded by a horde of those mechanized monsters. We managed to keep them at bay somehow or another, though, and here we are. In any case, it seems like all affairs have been set in order. Cassius says, yes. Much remains to be done, but this at least has been resolved. Estelle says, but isn't the Intelligence Division's battalion getting close to the castle by now? Joshua says, no doubt, along with patrol ships. Dad, did you check out the situation on the surface before coming down here? Cassius says, yes, and you've no need to worry about that. General Morgan said that he has the situation under control, and with Sid's help, this craziness will be quelled in no time. Estelle says, what? Colonel Richard laughs. I see. So you took care of them on your way here, then? Cassius says, so, you're awake. Colonel Richard says, we'd placed General Morgan under strict observation. Sid couldn't risk defying us because we held his family hostage. Yet you freed both from our grasp. Cassius says, I suppose I did. However, Richard, it's about all I've done. Even had I not returned, they would have been able to handle it themselves. Colonel Richard says, "No, you're wrong. You're a hero. You left the military, left all of us. What were we supposed to do? I didn't think we could survive another invasion, so I had to find something else we could rely on. If you had stayed in the service, it never would have come to this." Oh, so Cassius punches Colonel Richard in the face. Cassius says, "Stop being such a child, Richard. You're the one who made the mistake of never letting go of the delusions you had about me. For all your schemes, why could you never stand on your own 2 feet? I thought it would be okay to retire. I thought I could comfortably leave the army in your care." Colonel Richard says, "Colonel..." Cassius says, "I'm not an icon to be hailed. A decade ago, you and General Morgan helped me, and we were victorious. But I'm no more than a man who's run away from reality without protecting the things that are important to him." Estelle says, "Dad..." Cassius says, "But I have no intention of running any more. That's why I expect the same from you, Richard. I want you to think about this whole mess. Think about what you did wrong and how you can atone for it. You'll have plenty of time, believe me." And so the Intelligence Division's planned coup d'etat was thwarted. General Morgan and Major Sid organized the military authorities to keep the chaos to a minimum, and the conspirators in the Intelligence Division were arrested one by one. 1 week later, we are at the Queen's birthday celebration in Gransel. And we're now at the Gransel Guild branch. Elnard says, "Estelle and Joshua Bright, in honor of your recent work, the Gransel branch of the Bracers Guild has prepared you a letter of recommendation. Take it with our blessing." Estelle says, "Yes, sir. We have received payment for Aureola. We have received no monies and 12 BP. And we remain as Junior Bracers second class. And we have received a recommendation." Elnard says, "With this, you now have 5 such letters, I believe. Sir Cassius, if you will do the honours." Cassius says, "I will." Estelle and Joshua Bright, in accordance with the rules of this guild, this will qualify you both to become full-fledged bracers. Present your letters of recommendation." Estelle says, "Yes, sir." Joshua says, "By all means, please verify their authenticity." We have handed over the letters of recommendation. Cassius says, "The Rolent, Beausset, Rouen, Zeiss, and Gransel branches. I've now confirmed the authenticity of all 5 signatures. Final rank, Junior Bracer rank 2. I can truly say that your apprenticeship was a success. In Aidos's name and by the seal of the Bracers Guild, both of you are promoted to full-fledged bracers. Take your emblems, you two." Estelle says, "Yes, sir." We have received our bracer emblem. And everyone goes wild. Scheherazade says, "Congratulations, guys." Zen says, "Hey, those emblems look good on you." Agate says, "I have to admit, you two did good, but just this once." Estelle laughs, "Thanks, everyone." Joshua says, "We never would have reached this point without everyone's help." Cassius says, "Your true careers as bracers start now. Bear that in mind." Estelle says, "I understand." Joshua says, "We'll be even more dedicated." Elnard says, "Now, I hate to break up such a happy occasion, but I'm afraid I do have some unfortunate news that I must tell all of you." Kurt asks, "What is that?" Elnard says, "Today marks the final day of Cassius Bright's membership with the Bracers Guild. He is going to be returning to active duty within the Royal Army." Kana says, "What?" Grant asks, "Really?" Cassius says, "Since I've been away for so long, I feel bad bringing this up so suddenly, but the chaos that has resulted from the attempted coup must be quelled. The military needs major reorganization to deal with the damage that the intelligence division caused. I plan to help out with that." Analyst says, "Oh, I get it. Since bracers can't be soldiers. Hey, did you higher ranks already know about this?" Scheherazade says, "Yes, he already discussed it with us. It's discouraging, but we can never truly become independent if we always lean on those more experienced." Agate says, "And hey, think of it as less competition. Now that Cassius is out, maybe you can take the top spot, eventually." Kurt says, "I suppose that's true." Kana says, "This means we're going to be really busy though." Cassius says, "Well, you do have 2 new full-fledged bracers on hand now. You can work them like dogs instead of me." Estelle pouts, "Dad." Joshua laughs. "I guess our lives are about to get pretty hectic, huh?" We're now walking out in the city. Estelle says, "Geez, Dad, can't you at least stay with us until the end of the birthday celebration?" Cassius says, "I'm sorry, but there's a war council starting immediately. Colonel Richard may be in custody, but there are plenty of his special ops cohorts still at large. Captain Amalthea was also hiding somewhere in the underground ruins. And if that weren't enough, it looks like those sky pirates ran off in all the confusion. We have to stay on guard so that they don't cause any trouble during the festival." Estelle pouts, those guys are just a constant pain in the arse." Joshua says, "Either way, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth." Cassius says, "The increased security is just for peace of mind. The real issue is that we really don't know the significance of what happened underground. We can only guess at what effect breaking the seal will have, and what the purpose of the aureola is. That's a puzzle that absolutely must be solved." Estelle says, "Yeah, I guess you're right. And it doesn't sound like Colonel Richard's memory can be trusted." Cassius says, "Yes, just like Kurt, he seems to have some missing memories. Even so, the search team was able to confirm one thing. We now know where the black ornament came from." Estelle asks, "Really?" Joshua asks, "You know who made it?" Cassius says, "Not quite, but we do know who's responsible for introducing it to the intelligence division. Commander of the Special Ops, 2nd Lieutenant Lawrence Belgar." Joshua says, "Him." Cassius says he gave it to Richard shortly after he was recruited for the intelligence division, and coincidentally, that would be just about the same time Richard planned his coup. We need to find out everything about Lawrence that we can. Estelle says, he always did seem strange. I guess we were lucky that we actually got a good look at his face, huh? If you want, I can try drawing you a picture of him." Cassius says, "That would be appreciated. I have to admit, though, that I don't have the utmost faith in your artistic skills. Maybe I should ask Scheherazade or Her Majesty." Estelle frowns. "That's not nice." Joshua says, "Estelle, you actually saw Lawrence's face?" Estelle asks, "What? I didn't tell you?" "He took his helmet off when we fought him on the terrace in the Royal Keep. He looked around 20, maybe older, with ash blonde hair." Joshua is taken completely aback. Estelle says, "He had some seriously creepy eyes too, let me tell you. They were so cold, but it was like they were on fire at the same time. He told the Queen, 'You are hardly qualified to feel pity for me.'" Joshua asks, "Highly qualified?" Estelle asks, "Joshua?" Cassius says, Your eyes are looking a little creepy now too, Joshua. Something on your mind? How about you let us handle the clean-up here and go have fun at the festival? Joshua says, Okay, you're right. Estelle says, awesome, let's go live it up. Oh, right. Are you going to be sleeping at the castle tonight? Cassius says, yes. Her Majesty was kind enough to let me use 2 of the guest rooms in the eastern wing. Joshua and I will be on the right, you and Shara on the left. Estelle asks, me and Shara together? Cassius asks, you don't like that setup? Okay, how about me and you in one room, Joshua and Shara in the other? Just imagine, all that time for you to fawn over me and wait on me and tell me how much you missed me. Estelle pouts, I'll bunk with Shara. Cassius laughs, I suspected as much. All right, then I'll see you kids tonight. Joshua says, it wouldn't be a big deal for you to share a room with him. I mean, it has been a long time since you last saw him. Didn't you have a lot of stuff about your mum that you wanted to talk to him about? Estelle says, yeah, but I don't much like the idea of you and Shara in the same room either. Joshua says, huh? Estelle blushes, nothing. Let's go and take a look around. Town's decked out with some pretty cool festival-exclusive shops, Joshua says, well, we certainly can't let those pass us by now, can we? And if we get tired, there's a rest area in the eastern block. Estelle says, behind the stores, right? We should make that our last stop then. Mayor Maybell says, I was planning on going home early, but I guess that didn't happen. Estelle says, well, you've had a lot to discuss, I'm sure. Mayor Maybell says, indeed, Headmaster Collins has actually suggested we start a committee for royal ascendancy. There was a lot of mess with that coup, and the damage to our public image is quite big. We're going to have to start working more in concert with the other countries. Estelle says, it sounds to me like you're in for some busy times. Mayor Maybell says, all the more reason to kick back and relax tonight, no? I believe a walk to the cathedral for some prayer is in order. Estelle says, actually, come to think of it, first time I met you was on a day when you were skipping church. Mayor Maybell says, all the more reason to go now. Though I'm sure Aidos can forgive me for a little infraction like that, right? If you say so. A tourist says, after all that trouble, it's good to have some peace and quiet for a change. I'm expecting the Queen to keep on as she was. This sort of thing shouldn't get her down. Russell says, dear me, I'm much too old to be living on the lam. Estelle asks, were you okay being left on your own with Agate? Russell says, absolutely fine. He was very courteous and mindful of my needs. He even made sure to plan our daily route so as not to wear me down too much. I haven't any complaints about Agate at all. Estelle says, oh. Russell says, he's no Cassius, of course, but I'm still grateful to him. Tita says, Estelle, Joshua. Estelle says, wow, Tita, you look happy. Tita giggles, Grandpa promised me we could have ice cream. Estelle says, oh, ice cream. Ice cream is good. Tita says, you bet it is. I asked Agate to come too, but he said he didn't want to. Estelle says, Agate eating ice cream. I'd pay good money to see that. Tita says, I bet he'd like it if he tried it though. First Lieutenant Schwarzer says, Estelle, Joshua, how goes it? Estelle says, hey Julie, I fancy meeting you here. First Lieutenant Schwartz says, the Archbishop was very kind to me when I took asylum here. I wanted to thank him and keep him up to date on the current situation as well. Estelle says, oh okay, that makes sense. First Lieutenant Schwartz says, and I wanted to thank the both of you too. You're the reason we were able to save Her Majesty and the Princess. If you hadn't been there, well, at any rate, you have our sincerest gratitude. Estelle says, don't thank us. It was a group effort. Give a little, get a little, you know. Besides, we wanted to rescue Her Majesty just as much as you did. So it's win-win. Her Majesty's safe and everybody's happy. First Lieutenant Schwartz says, I suppose that's true, but thank you nonetheless. I can't say there's many new shops. Not even in here. Oh well. Let's go rest our feet then. Joshua says, okay, we finally made it to the rest area. Are you sure you don't want to look around more? Or are you finally ready to take a break? Let's stop and rest a bit. Estelle says, phew, walking all over the place like that can really take it out of you. Joshua says, glad we can get off our feet for a minute then. At the moment at least, Gransel seems like it's genuinely at peace. Estelle asks, you really think so? I'm just glad that we can leave it all up to Dad and everyone else, at least for today. Of course, I really think it should be his responsibility to begin with since he showed up so late. Joshua laughs. Yeah, I suppose so. Maybe it's just part of his nature. Estelle sighs. Oh well, it's not like we can do anything about it. But check us out, we're actually full braces now. Joshua says, which means we're not beholden to any specific branch and can go wherever we want. Anytime a branch is short-handed and requests help, we'll just take an airliner to get there. But our newfound freedom will also mean greater responsibilities. Estelle says, sure, but I think we'll be able to handle it. I mean, hey, we actually played a major part in stopping a coup. And it means I'll never have to hear Dad going on about how it worries him when you're not around to keep an eye on me. Joshua laughs. Yeah, I think his days of saying that are at an end. You really showed him what you can do. Still, I think I'd like to stay with you from now on. Estelle says, Huh? Joshua says, oh, would I just get on your nerves? Estelle blushes. No, nothing like that. But what do you mean by stay with me? Joshua says, just that we know each other so well and we can practically read each other's minds. I think we make a good team, and I'd hate to break it up. Estelle blushes harder. Oh, you mean like for bracer business? And here I was thinking you were going to tell me your big confession or something. Joshua says, what? Estelle screams, ah! Nothing, forget I said anything. Joshua asks, Estelle, what was that all? Estelle leaps up from the chair and says, boy, it sure is hot out today, huh? And there's nothing to beat hot weather like ice cream, huh? I'll even treat, so you wait right here. And then she rushes off. Joshua says, oh, I don't think there's an ice cream stand over that way. I wonder if she... Nah, there's no way. A man's voice says, my, but I do envy you, your youth sometimes. Joshua says, Professor Alba. Professor Alba says, it's been a long time since we last met, hasn't it? So much has happened lately, but things are finally settling down again. People truly thrive the most in peaceful times. Oh, is something the matter? You look a bit pale. I would have thought you'd generally be in better spirits, now that you've attained senior bracer status. Speaking of which, I truly must congratulate you on your success, so long as, of course, I'm not being too forward in doing so. Joshua says, ever since we first met, you always made me really uncomfortable. I'm a little more used to you now, but I still get the shakes a little bit whenever you look at me. Professor Alba asks, oh? Joshua says, and in all the cases we've dealt with, there have been people who just forget things. You're always there investigating, no matter where we've gone. Your timing's almost a little too good. What really clued me in was Kurt's reaction. He lost his memories too. He said he wasn't feeling so well when he was in the stands, and you were right there with him. Professor Alba, was it you? Professor Alba laughs. Impressive. Even with your cognizance and recollection being puppeteered, you were still able to piece it all together. Indeed, it was I. Allow me to clear away your confusion. Joshua says, oh, and starts shaking. Joshua continues, you're... The unknown gentleman laughs and says, so you finally remember me, do you? When your heart was in tatters, it was I who rebuilt it, I who restored it. It was I who poured a soul back into that empty vessel. Joshua says, you have the power to twist the minds and memories of men. 7 snake apostles. The Angui. You're one of them. Weissman the Faceless. Weissman says, I've not heard that name pass your lips in ages. Enforcer number 13. The Black Fang, Joshua Astray. Joshua says, you are behind all of this, which means that Lieutenant Lawrence has to be... Weissman says, it is as you surmise. I was kind enough not to erase your memories of him. I'm not surprised you were able to make the connection so quickly. I'm sure he'll be pleased to know you were thinking of him. Joshua says, so you're here to finish me off? Weissman says, no, nothing of the sort. The first phase of our plan went off without a hitch. Since I've a moment to spare, I simply thought I'd come to see you. Joshua asks, first phase? The seal in the old ruins? Weissman says, the gate, which blocks the path to the ring. Wrenching it open was but the first step of many, and already there exists no means of closing it again. Joshua says, I knew this wouldn't be the end of it. What the hell's the shining ring? And what is your little society after? Weissman asks, if you truly wish to know, why don't you rejoin? I'm certain that you'd be able to return to active duty in no time. You needn't look so glum. We could get you back into fighting form. Weissman laughs. Please, spare me your withering looks. I do understand that you have a family now whom you regard as important. You greatly admire your father, to say nothing of the girl you so adore. Even with him on our side, throwing these gifts away would be the actions of an idiot. And so, I've come here to see you. I've come to offer you true freedom from our association, as thanks to the integral role you so perfectly played. Which means that I must congratulate you, Joshua. You are already a free man. I am most grateful for the work that you've done over the past 5 years. Joshua asks, what? Weissman says, oh, don't be so boring. I was expecting a bit more cheer out of you after hearing such news. Perhaps there's a flaw in the design of your emotions. Joshua asks, I've been helping you? What kind of bullshit are you expecting me to swallow? Weissman says, oh, pardon me, I completely forgot to tell you. I never intended you to be an assassin, but rather a spy. Joshua says, what? Weissman says, the society abandoned you. We played on the pities of a noble-hearted man, and it worked. You were given a loving home. And while you were there, our contacts would check in on you from time to time, and you'd tell them everything. We were particularly interested in your reports on the movements of the Bracers Guild, as well as your intel on one Cassius Bright. Joshua is shocked beyond words. Weissman continues, but of course you wouldn't remember having done things such as that. You were not yourself at the time. Weissman continues, Cassius Bright, S-ranked bracer, he was the foremost impediment to the success of this plan. We felt certain he would be quick to act in order to stop any coup d'etat that should occur. But through a detailed analysis of his behavioural patterns, we finally devised a plan that would lead him out of the country and out of our way. The intel you've unknowingly been feeding us has been most useful indeed. Joshua collapses to the ground and holds his head, screaming, no. Weissman says, and so I must thank you again. The past 5 years have been of inestimable help. Joshua screams, no, you're lying. You have to be lying. All that time I spent with Estelle. Weissman laughs. Why are you so sad? Has your feigned ignorance not earned you a beloved family as well as a happy home? If you say nothing, they will never know. However, it is the sort of thing that might weigh heavily upon a fellow. Since your fellow members of the Bright household are such good people, perhaps a little too good for a monster such as yourself. However much you may model your behaviour after a normal, decent person, you are no such thing. You must surely have noticed your ability to reason through and execute a solution to a problem, no matter the circumstances. Your physical strength and reflexes better than an entire squadron of normal soldiers. You are my greatest creation, my human weapon. That is who and what you truly are, the Black Fang. You have no place in the lives of normal people. You'll never be happy in their presence again. You can't be. When it becomes too much for you, you are always welcome to return to the Grandmaster's Society of Souls, back to Ouroboros. Joshua growls to himself. Is this my punishment? My sister. And lo, what do I do? Estelle returns with ice cream. It's late in the afternoon too. Estelle sighs. I don't know how to face him after all that, but I've kept him waiting for way too long. It's getting late too. I'm such an idiot. I need to learn to think before I open my mouth. I wonder if Joshua has figured me out. Gotta cool down. I feel like I'm stuck in perma-blush mode. A man's voice says, Estelle, I thought I might find you around here somewhere. Estelle says, Hi, Professor Alba. Fancy seeing you here. Professor Alba laughs. Indeed. I was actually just speaking with Joshua. Congratulations on your promotion to senior bracer status. Estelle laughs. Thanks. Professor Alba asks, Is something wrong? Estelle says, I don't know. Something just seems different about you. What's got you looking so cheerful? Professor Alba laughs. Okay, you've got me. To tell the truth, I've made several major advances in my archaeological research. You might say that it's put me in a good mood. Estelle says, Hey, that's awesome. Oh, sorry. The ice cream's going to melt, so I'd better get going. I'll see you later. And off she goes. Weissman laughs to himself. I see, Cassius Bright's daughter. I think she's going to be quite a lot of fun. Estelle makes it back to Joshua and says, Hey, sorry it took so long. It was super crowded there, but I have returned with our valuable loot. Joshua says, Cool, thanks. Now we can eat like kings. Estelle says, Yeah. So about earlier, Joshua says, Yeah, I want to apologize for that. I didn't mean to be so vague. It just wasn't an appropriate time for confessions, you know. Estelle says, Oh, sure. I didn't really mind so much. Joshua says, Well, when I gave it some more thought, it seemed kind of silly to try and rush things. We may be senior bracers now, but that just means we have different work to focus on. We might have to really consider our future prospects. Estelle says, Right. Estelle thinks to herself, If we get married, we'll have to think about raising children. I've got to stop getting so far ahead of myself. Joshua asks, Well, it's evening already, so why don't we eat our ice cream on the way back? Everyone's probably waiting for us. Estelle asks, Hey, Joshua? Joshua asks, What is it? Did you have something you wanted to discuss about the future? Estelle pouts, No, what would give you that idea? Come on, let's get back to the castle. Back in the castle we are, and Estelle's pacing in her room with Scheherazade. Estelle says, Scheherazade asks, What's wrong, Estelle? You've been completely on edge for a while now. Something on your mind? Estelle says, Yeah. Hey, Shera, do you think Joshua was acting weird at dinner? Scheherazade says, If anyone was acting weird, I'd say it was you. He was as calm as he ever is. Estelle says, Well, yeah, but... Scheherazade laughs. I see, I get it. Estelle asks, Get what? Scheherazade says, You can't keep secrets from me. I had a feeling about it, but I was wondering if you'd ever admit it to yourself. You're kind of falling for Joshua, aren't you? Estelle blushes. You can tell? Scheherazade says, It's pretty obvious. Sorry, hon. But I'm guessing you haven't told him anything about this. Estelle stammers, No. Joshua's always picking on me, telling me what a dope I am. Not that I should be criticizing anyone, I guess. Scheherazade sighs. You're so naive. It's a wonder you've lasted this long. You need to learn to look a little deeper. Big sister is ready to begin your education in love, Estelle. Estelle pouts. I'm never asking you for advice again. Scheherazade says, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, I don't mean to tease. But you guys set out just when puberty was about to hit. It's only logical that you'd start picking up on feelings for each other. Estelle says, oh, you think so? Travelling together just seems like such a petty reason for that kind of thing. I guess I've gotten a little more self-aware since we started all this. This isn't like me at all. Scheherazade laughs. You're the proverbial flower that refuses to blossom. Every girl feels that way. Estelle says, Scheherazade says, I don't want to lecture you or talk about this with you if you're not ready. But if you are, then what say we have ourselves some girl talk, Would it help if I told your fortune? Estelle blushes. Yeah, okay. I promise I'll listen to whatever you have to say. Scheherazade says, okay. All right, time for your lesson, my protege. Oh, Estelle, big sister has moved to tears. Estelle scowls. On second thought, never mind. But thank you, I do feel a little better. I'm going to go see Joshua for a little bit. Scheherazade says, oh, you're going to tell him? Estelle says, not about that. There really does seem to be something weird going on with him. I want to see what that's about first. Scheherazade says, well, you do seem to know him better than anyone else. I'm sure that everything will turn out just fine between you two. Maybe you can even just have a nice, calm discussion with him and be open about what's on your mind. Estelle says, I don't think I'm quite that ready yet. Okay, I'll see you later. And she runs off. Scheherazade pulls a card and says to herself, young love. They'll probably be fine. Estelle is in her dad and Joshua's room, and she says, they're not here. Oh yeah, Dad's still in some meeting, I think. But where's Joshua? Estelle says, Joshua? He's out playing somewhere then. Where is the nearest window? Be going in there. Harmonica was a brave choice. Sorry. Don't mind me, just invading privacy. We'll see how it gets louder out here. You'd think he would be out here somewhere. There he is. Joshua says, "Hey, Estelle. Nice night, isn't it?" Estelle says, "Yeah. There's that song again. The Whereabouts of Light." Joshua says, "I've lost a lot, but this song and this harmonica have always been with me. I've been thinking about why I play it. Maybe it's a habit I should quit. I think I want to tell you what I was doing before I met you." Estelle says, "Joshua, okay." Joshua says, "This may take a while. Do you mind?" Estelle says, "Not at all. I'll listen to whatever you have to say." Joshua says, "Thank you." Joshua starts, "Once upon a time, there lived a little boy all by himself. He was the timid sort, relying on the kindness of others without a single redeeming trait. But he had people he cared about with him, so he was happy. But one day something happened that broke his heart. He forgot how to speak, to feel, even to eat. All he could do was play his harmonica. No matter how hard his caretaker tried, nothing helped his heart to mend, and he grew weaker by the day. One day, a wandering magician appeared before the boy. I will heal the boy's heart for you," he said, "provided, of course, I am compensated." So the boy was given over into the magician's care. As he attempted to piece the broken heart back together, the magician found that he could shape the boy's existence into anything he wished, and so the boy's new heart became that of a murderer. For 2 years, the boy killed every single day. Under cover of night, he murdered dozens of soldiers. He slit the throat of a national cabinet minister who was under heavily armed guard. Sometimes he used explosives, which maimed and killed innocent bystanders. At some point, he became regarded as something more than a mere killer. He was known as the Black Fang, and the name struck fear into the hearts of men. One day, the magician gave the boy an assassination order. His target was a hero, a man who had protected his queen and nation from the threat of an invading northern country. He was a bracer who held a special rank shared only by 3 others in the entire land. But the target was too strong. He defeated the boy with all the ease of a tiger swatting at a playful cub. At that moment, some of the magician's servants showed up. Since the boy's face had been seen, he was now a loose end to be tied up. But someone came to his aid and drove the attackers away. It was, of course, the man he had come to kill. And so the boy was taken to the man's house where he met a young girl. He lived there for 5 years, always feeling like he was lost in some wonderful dream. In the real world, he would never be allowed to have such dreams, but all dreams must end at some point. The time was drawing near, when reality could be avoided no longer. And that's the end of my story. Thank you for being patient with me and listening. Estelle gasps. Was all that real? Joshua says, "Every syllable. My heart is broken. My hands will always be stained with blood. I failed in the assassination of your father. I've been betraying you for a long time. The boy can't be saved from his real purpose. His presence alone seems to bring disaster and misery. He's just tainted." Estelle does not have words. Joshua says, "But the boy set out on a journey. In hopes that he may keep his misfortunes from the ones he holds dear, he will find it stopped the foul magician who created the life he has led. Estelle asks, what? Joshua says, that's the last remnant of my human heart. I won't be needing it anymore, but I want you to take it. It's hardly an adequate way to thank you for the last 5 years, yet I can't think of anything better. Estelle starts quivering. Stop it. Joshua asks, what? Estelle shouts, I said, stop it. Stop talking about it like it's a dream. You make it sound like nothing that's happened was even real to you. What difference does the past make? Your heart is broken? What does that even mean? Joshua says, Estelle. Estelle says, look at me. Look into my eyes. You're getting sleepy, very sleepy. They've always seen that boy. In good times and bad, no matter how much the boy was hurting, I always saw how hard he'd keep holding on. Joshua, I love you. Estelle starts crying and says, you can't just leave me on my own. My feelings won't just go away when you do. I won't let you. Joshua says, Estelle. Estelle says, huh? Oh. Joshua. They have a little kiss and she hurriedly pushes away. Estelle asks, what was that? It's so bitter. Joshua says, it's just a fast-acting sedative. Don't worry, there are no side effects. Estelle says, oh, and collapses to her knees. Why? Why did you? Joshua says, my Estelle, you shine like the sun. My time with you was the happiest and the most painful I've ever known. Just as the brightest light casts the darkest shadow, if you stayed with me, you'd find out just how disgusting my true nature is. Sometimes I think it would have been better if we'd never met. Estelle says, no. Joshua says, but this time is different. I'm grateful that you came to see me. I hate that I have to run from a girl who's so important to me, but it's all I can do. But I want you to know that I'll always be thinking of you. Estelle says, Joshua. Joshua says, thank you for everything. You had me from the first moment I met you. I've always loved you. And Estelle passes out. Joshua says, goodbye, Estelle. And that is the end of our Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky playthrough. Celeste Crown of the Magister is up next, after the bonus episodes, of course. And there will be a review, my thoughts episode as well. So if you've made it all this way through the series and all my rantings and ravings, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day and we will see you in the next playthrough.